So Metroidvania titles in 2022 and 2023 are getting on another level, and this list is no different. I scoured the internet and found the best of the best, so here are the top 25 upcoming Metroidvania titles you don't want to miss. So I don't know about you guys, but something about the dark and evil infested environments have always fascinated me. The Last Faith is exactly the type of game that will satisfy that craving, and let's be real, this game 100% takes its inspirations from a certain game called Blasphemous, and that's a good thing. This is an exploration-based Metroidvania with a deep gothic theme that has you playing as Eric, who has to reveal the truth about the prophecy and clean up this corrupted city full of bloodthirsty monsters. I just love the quick and impactful combat with more than enough weapon choices and smooth animations that really hit the right spot. The Last Faith is a full-on package with a compelling storyline, incredible detailed gothic art style, fluid combat, and a lot more. Definitely a game worth putting down on your list. So Moonscars from the jump visually stands out, and it stands out more than anything with its 2D Souls-like combat and gorgeous animations. The bloody gore that completely shifts the visuals, a game in which there's nothing linear about this 2D world. You're going to be fighting off a darkness that is set to consume you at all costs. You can tell this is a dark game, and one where the difficulty and your skill will absolutely matter. Moonscars clearly also takes its inspiration from Blasphemous, but it brings its own unique world. What's also interesting about this game is that it has a lot of hardcore mechanics involved, even to the point when you die, at times you'll have to fight a mirror of yourself just to get back your skills and powers. Dying can be very costly in this game, and it's not going to be for the faint of heart. With that, for me, Moonscars jumps all the way to the top 5 most anticipated Metroidvania Dark Souls-like games on this list. So Giga Sword, as the name indicates, features a man with a gigantic sword embarked on a journey to recover the lost crystal of God in this epic action puzzle Metroidvania title. With the help of his huge sword, you can slay through hordes of enemies, but it comes in handy for solving tons of hidden puzzles spread out throughout the world. But make sure you guys don't do it at the wrong time, because without your sword, you can't actually do anything. It's a good mix of classic platformer with snappy combat that actually weighs upon you because of that heavy sword, of course. Giga Sword is still far from being ready, and we will have to wait until 2023 to play this game. So Silent Santikado is yet another thrilling action-adventure game that follows the story of Luna, a young priestess from a distant land who has vowed to find the source of the curse that has spread through the land, leaving behind death and despair. I love the simple yet artistic look of the game that naturally creates that feeling of despair, and as you fight your way through the ruins of this once peaceful city, you come across a number of mysteries as they begin to unravel. Silent Santikado is definitely for those looking for an intense action with compelling story. So speaking of thrill, I just can't think of a better Metroidvania title than this. Doomblade is a 2D action Metroidvania that features Gloom Girl, who has finally been released from her eons-long captivity, and now with the help of her newfound sentient Doomblade, she's ready to unleash all her wrath upon her captors. This game features insanely fast-paced combat. It's really on the fly, and it's going to keep you on your toes the whole time as you slay through the hordes of enemies with your Blade of Doom. I love how everything just looks effortlessly smooth in this game, from the combat to the visual effects. So Akatori is a great example of how incredibly gorgeous this genre can be. Just a single glance and this game's been on my watch list ever since. It's a story about a young girl named Meiko who has taken it upon herself to save the world from destruction. From what? We don't know, but it seems like she got some pretty slick moves up her sleeve to fight whatever steps in her way. Speaking of fighting, the game offers some smooth hack and slash combat combined with Meiko's special ability of world switching, and this game looks absolutely thrilling. So Bow is yet another upcoming 2D platformer with a gorgeous hand-drawn art style where you play as a tiny fox demon who's exploring this vast mysterious world. The game features a unique storyline based on the Japanese folklore with exciting atmospheric bells. It's heavily inspired by the likes of Hollow Knight, both in terms of gameplay and fluid combat mechanics. With a plethora of moves and weapons up your sleeves, you'll have plenty of options to slay your way through the ancient yokai monsters. Bow offers a fully fledged ability system that allows you to upgrade your character's power to defeat colossal bosses and solve challenging puzzles. This is a must-play for all Metroidvania lovers out there. So the last case of Benedict Fox is a true Metroidvania as you play as Fox, who is a self-proclaimed detective bound to his demon companion. But you must explore the mind of the recently deceased to uncover clues of your very last and huge mystery. In this title, you'll be set off to fight demons, explore minds, solve elaborate puzzles, and uncover a grim mystery. For me personally, what draws me to this game is its awesome combat, the vibrant visuals mixed with the darkness of the world you'll be uncovering. The only bad thing about this game is we'll be waiting until 2023 for its release. Now, Islets is yet another true Metroidvania with some unique mechanics that have you taking to the sky. This is a game about making wholesome connections with people, befriending a cast of charming characters, and when you do so, the world will expand and be revealed even further. But on top of that, there's even some engaging epic boss battles in the sky with a fully hand-painted visuals, vivid environments, and stunning gameplay. It's easy to see why Islet is a Metroidvania worth waiting for. So one of my personal favorites on this list, the perfect pencil, comes from Studio Sema. It's an action-adventure platformer that features gorgeous hand-drawn art, but what's even more fascinating about this game is the message that it tries to convey. It's a psychological, narrative-driven story about the life and the choices that we make and how they affect us. But besides a deep storyline, the game also features a slew of challenging boss fights and honestly a very insanely smooth combat system. You'll also come across a number of allegorical characters with unique personalities, and to be honest, they look quite mysterious from the looks of the trailer. So Turbo Kid is probably the most unique title on this list that no one really asked for, but we all needed secretly. It's a rare mix of gore-filled action Metroidvania that has somehow managed to sneak in a BMX cycle. The game's heavily inspired by the 2015 Turbo Kid movie with a lot of blood. Here you play as this Lone Ranger, the Turbo Kid, who's embarked on this wild adventure to find hope in this desolate world filled with scavengers. To help ease through this brutal journey, you're going to have your trusted turbo glove, a sick machete, and a slew of other arsenals ready to fight for all-out mayhem. So looking at Nine Souls, the gorgeous hand-drawn visuals completely draw you in immediately. But if that's not enough, the Sekiro-inspired deflection-focused combat will certainly make this game stand out. Here you play as Hero Yi, who has awakened the 9 rulers of the Forsaken Realm, and well, he's on a vengeful mission to take out these 9 souls. I don't know about you guys, but a game about revenge is absolutely my jam. Set in a unique Taoism cyberpunk setting and unraveling the mystery of what this world has to offer, the game's premise completely brings you into this colorful world. Oh, and if that isn't enough, check out the insanely beautiful combat animations, the vibrant gameplay this game has to offer. It's easily one of my top games on this list, but we do have a bit of ways to go as this isn't seeing the light of day until sometime in 2023. So Frontier Hunters Ursa's Wheel of Fortune on its surface is a pretty deep upcoming Metroidvania title. Featuring a classic side-scrolling gameplay, you'll find yourself at times playing with a team of 3 who you can switch between at any moment, even during combat. And when it's just you on the screen, they can come in and aid you in the effort with their own abilities. The game features some really deep RPG mechanics mixed with the exploration and the true nature of a Metroidvania. I feel it's safe to say this is a game you certainly want to wishlist if you're a fan of the genre. So since we are on the topic of dark worlds filled with horrific monsters, there's no way this game is flying under my radar. Crow Swarm is probably the most polished and gorgeous action Metroidvania title on this list. Coming from Mongoose Rodeo, Crow Swarm takes you to the cursed land of Farandal that once used to be a glorious kingdom. All that you see now though are the remnants of the past as you venture through this land to find salvation and discover the truth. And honestly, looking at some early gameplay footage, I can tell that this is a title that's going to be ranked up there, potentially in a league up there with Hollow Knight. So obviously I can't afford to miss out on Hollow Knight itself. The title now literally defines the Metroidvania genre, and I can't be any more excited to tell you that in this next inline sequel to this awesome title, it's now finally on its way to us. Hollow Knight Silksong holds the same charming look, and of course, our beloved Hollow Knight Hornet Queen, and she seems to come packed with a lot of cool new tricks. The game also features a new kingdom that goes through the mossy grottos to the coral forest to the misted moors, and that's where you'll have to fight against a slew of challenging enemies from assassins to kings. The graphics, as usual, are exceptionally gorgeous, especially with all the cool visual effects, and honestly guys, I have high hopes for this sequel. I'm sure you guys do as well. However, we don't have a fixed release date, but we aren't going to be too far from this one either way. So coming from Dapper Dog Digital Biogun is yet another exciting upcoming Metroidvania title where you play as a pig vaccine and you make your way through the body of your creator's friend to try and save his life. And I know that sounds a little weird, but let's look past the story and talk about that actual gameplay which I have to say is quite awesome. It's a thrilling action-adventure platformer with fast-paced shooting combat, a variety of different maps filled with life-threatening parasites and viruses you have to fight off. You're going to use your wits and mobility to escape the microscopic world, and while you're at it, don't forget to befriend friendly cells to help you out. I love the art style and the attention to detail that goes really incredibly well with the gameplay of the game. This one will definitely be worth the wait. So stranded on a vast desolated planet, you're going to assume control of Modra, an alien from outer space on a mission to find the remnants of past lives and civilizations on Protea 6. Now, what appears to be a world swept by sand at first glance turns out to be full of mysteries and secrets, and in the hopes to unravel these secrets, you're going to have to dig deep into the perils of this unknown world. Now, this game offers you all the freedom you need to explore this vast interconnected world of Protea 6 at your own pace. You'll be jumping, crawling, sliding, and shooting your way out of trouble in this action-packed thriller. Although I'm not a big fan of the visuals itself, the gameplay and combat mechanics certainly look like they're going to make up for it in the end. So speaking of chaos in combat, I honestly can't think of many games like Bushiden. It's a futuristic action platformer that puts you in the shoes of a young ninja who has embarked on a wild journey to save his sister from the evil clutches of a diabolical Goa and his vast army of evil monsters. Inspired by the classic retro ninja games, Bushiden tries to balance the old school gameplay with modern mechanics. You'll be exploring a vast world to find cybernetic upgrades to become powerful enough to fight your worst enemy and rescue your sister. So Last Vanguard is certainly a different package among these Metroidvanias, as it's a shooter platformer with RPG elements and hand-drawn visuals. The game has you exploring an open world with dungeons to dive into, but chock full of Metroidvania mechanics. There's also different biomes you'll encounter, secret guns, items, and among that exploration, you're going to be finding some cool, challenging bosses. Personally, a game like this, especially some of the boss fights, has me completely excited, and I feel like Last Vanguard could be a game that bridges the gap for those unfamiliar with the Metroidvania genre, as it has such an appealing gameplay that anyone could get into. So immediately, the vibrant colors and visuals in Glimmer and Mirror completely stand out. Here you play as Shiro in a collapsed mirror world who goes on an adventure and meets a colorful cast of characters and monsters. This upcoming Metroidvania features a fun combat system base that has you seeking new skills along the path, spirit companions with unique abilities that will aid you, and a story that has you making different choices about the future of the mirror world that you inhabit that will result in multiple endings. Glimmer and Mirror looks like a fantastic entry among these indie games, and personally it's a game that I'm looking forward to. Alright, since we're on the topics of darkness and gore, Mandragora is yet another Metroidvania title that needs to be in the spotlight. It's a story-driven adventure that takes you through the dark alleys of a once peaceful land that has now been surrendered to evil monsters. Death and despair roam around the streets with people locked away in their homes. Mandragora features a rich, vast, 2D hand-painted world filled with dark forests, deadly swamps, desolate deserts, and a lot more. I personally love the art style and the attention to detail the designers have put on top of a compelling story and equally immersive narrative. Although we don't have a release date for this game, I'm certainly going to be keeping a close eye on this one. In what's starting to become a theme among Metroidvanias, here we have the Tarnishing of Juxtia, a dark fantasy soul-like RPG with a visually fun-looking combat featuring a variety of abilities and gear. Visuals are featuring beautiful pixel animations mixed with 15 unique levels, 14 boss battles, and lots of secrets and side quests you'll be engaging with. But another cool aspect of Tarnishing with Juxtia is the game has around 20 hours of gameplay, so if you're looking for a bite-sized Metroidvania adventure, you'll be getting it here with this title. So Airhead is definitely one of the most unique and bizarre games that I've ever played. The whole idea of this game is to help a body save its head. Yeah, a head full of air, which I'm sure some of you can relate to, but then again, jokes apart, that's the whole premise of this game. Now, as bizarre as this sounds, Airhead is actually a fun game with tons of challenging puzzles and platforming adventure. Some of the puzzles will require you to really think out of the box, while others will have you drop your head just to get through the obstacles. And of course, don't forget to inflate your head every once in a while using these gas cylinders, because who knows, you might need your head to fly around. Now, if that doesn't get you excited about this game, I don't know what will. So a game completely inspired by the 16 and 32-bit era classics set in a handcrafted steampunk world, Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder brings a unique flavor to this list and to indie game releases in general. And here you'll step into the shoes of a lady named Alethea, an elite mercenary who goes by the motto, one job at a time. With the gameplay and combat being a mix of melee combos and deadly gunplay, guys, for me this easily stood out when adding this game to the list. One cool feature about this title is the ability to challenge challenge new rivals, catch up with old friends through your journey, and taking on side jobs you choose to progress through the game to gain new abilities and unlock new skills. Oh guys, and the boss fights for Gestalt and Steam, they look to me absolutely epic. So now we're going to delve into the black and white world of Naplea and fight for the freedom of your land from the powerful paristic force that has wiped out many of your kind to rule your once peaceful world. Astronaut is yet another brilliant Metroidvania that combines elements of exploration, puzzles, and platforming action together to create unique gameplay that's never been experienced before. Now, it might not look like much at first glance, but there's more to Astronaut than meets the eye. Everything from gameplay mechanics to sound design is super immersive. The game offers a ton of different maps, hordes of challenging enemies and massive bosses, and tons of power-ups to blow your foes to bits. It's a game that's certainly on my radar and should be on yours as well. With that, if you guys want more of the best 25 indie games coming out this year and beyond, make sure you guys click the videos on the screen.